In the Air Force, we often approach each other and say a simple phrase to find out what someone does. That phrase is, "What are you?" That might seem strange to someone that's not in the Air Force, but what would seem even stranger is the reply that is often given. For example, in my case, the reply would be, "I'm a 3 Delta." What in the world is a 3 Delta? I have a specific career field in the Air Force, and it's also known as an Air Force Specialty Code, or AFSC. It serves under a particular air and space power function, supports a distinct Air Force capability, and accomplishes homeland security and force protection all at the same time. Let me begin by telling you what a 3 Delta is and what we do. A 3 Delta 1 X-ray 3 is what my AFSC is, better referred to as a radio frequency transmission technician. Our job is to maintain radio frequency-based transmitters and receivers. For example, the radio that an air traffic controller uses to talk between themselves and a pilot would be that type of radio. Another example of a radio would be a weather radio that continually broadcasts the weather conditions to anyone that's on the flight line or up in the air. My career field supports installing and maintaining land mobile radios and wireless communications as well. A land mobile radio could be something like a radio installed in a fire truck that is used to communicate with a 911 dispatcher, or a handheld radio that individuals use that looks similar to walkie-talkies. Wireless communications could be issuing you a BlackBerry or taking care of your cell phone needs. So now that you have an idea of what I do, I can tell you what particular air and space power function that I support. My air and space power function is information operations. One of the functions we would perform would be protecting radio nets to prevent our enemies from retrieving any vital information. Radio frequency technicians control and authorize the use of frequencies in the United States and in foreign countries. This is to eliminate any interference in what that country is using or controlling. These functions are an even bigger part of the picture, and that's where my career field supports a distinct Air Force capability. My job falls under the capability of information superiority. We provide the ability to allow communications in a crisis at a moment's notice. For example, we could bring in a van containing a cellular tower to provide communications where there aren't any. We also have the means to countermeasure and deny our enemy the right to collect, control, or exploit any information by dominating the space that they try to intercept. We oftentimes bring in a special piece of equipment that jams radio frequencies to keep our national security information secure. By supporting information superiority, we also accomplish counterterrorism in the process. There are 2 counterterrorism programs that radio frequency technicians contribute to. The first program is Homeland Security. We participate in this by providing the land mobile radios and wireless communications in any major crisis. For instance, in Hurricane Katrina, we deployed 400 handheld walkie-talkie type radios to the National Guard troops that were called in. The second program is Force Protection. By using the radio nets on the installation, we are able to keep information flowing to keep our troops safe and to help protect the military installation that we are on. Now you have an idea of what I do in the Air Force, and I will remind you of how it all fits in. I gave you a brief summary of what my Air Force specialty code is: 3 Delta 1X3, radio frequency transmission technician. I also told you the particular air and space power function I support: information operations. I gave you the distinct Air Force capability that we fall under, which is information superiority, and I explained to you how we accomplish homeland security and force protection. Thank you very much.